Hello and welcome to the agenda. I am Ajay Kaul. In this program today, we will be discussing the continued face-off at the line of actual control in Ladakh. It's almost 3 months since the military face-off between India and China began on the line of actual control in Ladakh. And as we speak today, there is no resolution in sight, which is clear from various statements given by the government. There have been several meetings at military and diplomatic levels, but what is clear is that China is refusing to move back its troops, which have been amassed, reportedly in tens of thousands. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Anurag Srivastava on Thursday said China's conduct has been in complete disregard of all mutual agreements. He noted that Chinese military has resorted to deployment of large body of troops and changes in behavior. He also said that India expects that China will sincerely work with India for complete disengagement and de-escalation and full restoration of peace and tranquility in the border areas at the earliest. This latest statement makes it clear that there is a problem, much bigger than many may have anticipated. In the agenda today, we will try to understand this problem and possible way out with someone who has held key positions in the Indian Army till recently. We have with us retired Lieutenant General Vinod Bhatia, former Director General of Military Operations. But before we welcome our special guest, let us see this brief report.
Even after several rounds of military and diplomatic talks, the face-off between the troops of India and China continues in the heights of Ladakh on the line of actual control. There are reports that China has amassed tens of thousands of troops at the LAC and is refusing to pull back. This is hindering the process of disengagement and de-escalation, which both sides have agreed to undertake. Dropping hints about China's stubborn attitude, External Affairs Ministry spokesman Anurag Srivastava on Thursday said China's conduct has been in complete disregard of all mutual agreements signed since 1993. He expressed India's expectation that China will sincerely work for complete disengagement and de-escalation. He made it clear that onus of restoring peace and tranquility on the border is on China, which will have to pull back the large body of troops it has mobilized there. The MEA spokesperson said India is fully committed to observing and respecting the LAC and will not accept any unilateral attempts to change the status quo along the LAC. The MEA spokesman's remark at a media briefing indicate that disengagement process is going to be difficult. Cognizance of China's attitude, which is worse since 1962, India has also mobilized its troops and also other assets, including air assets, to match the military strength of China. Both sides are engaged in discussions through the established diplomatic and military channels to achieve the objective of disengagement expeditiously. The fourth round of the meeting of the senior commanders was held on 14 July, where they discussed further steps to ensure complete disengagement. Another meeting of the working mechanism for consultations and coordination of India-China border affairs is expected to be scheduled soon. India has asserted that maintenance of peace and tranquility in the border areas is the basis of bilateral relationship. At the same time, India is making preparations to ensure there is no repeat of 1962. Bureau Report.
So let's welcome our special guest, General Bhatia.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, sir. So let me begin with MEA spokesperson Anurag Srivastava's yesterday's statement that which hinted at that there are problems. I know you are not privy to the developments, but how do you see this situation? What could be the problems?
These are sensitive situations. We have to understand that. And there are multiple incursions by China, by the PLA, in our territories in eastern Ladakh, be it the Gibson Plains, they've gone Galwan, reportedly they've gone back from there, and Hoxton, Gogra area. And more importantly, Pangong-so, which seems to be a very touchy issue with China right now. So we have to understand these are sensitive issues, but the fact remains on the positive side. There are two things I would like to say. One, disengagement has taken place, so troops are not facing each other the way they used to face earlier in the face-off. The distances are being maintained, so the chances of spiral are reduced. After Galwan, there is no trust among the forces, among the nations also for that matter, in the relationship. India-China relations gone under change, totally under change. And like I said, the ghost of Galwan will haunt China for a long, long time to come, because Galwan was a total, backstabbing once again after 62. It was a mistrust again. So that is one positive, is that the disengagement process, though not completed, it's a lengthy, laborious process, but the process has commenced, and there are issues out there which are being resolved at the military diplomatic level. On the second positive side is that India and China are talking at the military level, and they are talking at the diplomatic level. I'm given to understand by the reports coming in that today also the WMCC, which is the working mechanism for coordination and cooperation, is meeting today. So hopefully, as long as we keep talking, the resolution would come. It will take a long time because sensitivity is involved. China has, China doesn't like to go back so early. It is, it's a question of pace for China now. China came in; it did not expect such a resilient response from India, which it has faced now. The costs of China are going up worldwide. So China is in a quandary right now, and so hence the disengagement process will take a long time, and that is what we should be prepared for, and we should prepare for logistically for the winters and beyond that also.
So, but if we see if we collate yesterday's statement with that of Defence Minister Rajnath Singh a few days back, when he said that he could not guarantee to what extent a resolution could be reached. So, how do you read that statement?
India's stance is categorical that we have to ensure status quo ante. This is as per the agreements of 93, 96, 2005, 2013. China has disregarded the agreement. There is no doubt about it. The total disregard for the agreements and total disregard for the peace and tranquility which has prevailed along the line of actual control. The equilibrium which was established out there, the Wuhan spirit, because there is the strategic guidance by the President of China, Mr. Xi Jinping, and by the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi. Whereas we have maintained the strategic guidance, we have shown restraint, but China, on the other hand, is very aggressive. It's an aggressive behavior by China all along the LAC. So what I feel is that let's give it a little this thing, but we should talk to them from a position of greater strength. That is the language that China understands, a position of greater strength, and that is exactly what is happening. If China's build-up is taking place against the Treaty of 96, where this was not to be built up, India also is ensuring equitable and proportional build-up all along the line of action.
So, as you also said, and MEA spokesperson also yesterday said that Chinese behavior is, in total disregard of all mutual agreements. So, even if we are talking at diplomatic level, military level, and we are reaching understanding, maybe we reach some understanding, but then how do you trust? Because earlier agreements have been violated.
You are right. The trust has been shattered in Galwan. So trust is not going to be there. So that is why we need the disengagement process is going to be very long and laborious, because at every stage verification have to be done, re-verification have to be done. We have to ensure surveillance. We have to ensure good intelligence all along the line of active control. It should not so happen that they go back in a particular place, point A, they come back in point B and point C because of China's aggressive behavior. So China is not doing this in India alone. If you look at China, during the pandemic and now which is going on, it has taken advantage of the world's attention being diverted towards the pandemic, and it has done so in South China Sea, it has done so in East Sea, it has also destroyed certain ships of Malaysia, then Indonesia had put pressure, Vietnam put pressure, Philippines also. So you find that this is China has no regard for the global based world order, rule-based world order. So that is what China is doing. China is not really concerned too much right now on what the international opinion about China is. So international opinion wise, China is already down. It cannot get lower than that. Everyone blames it for the pandemic, for COVID-19 or China coronavirus. So China is going to be very, very hard to budge right now. But when China understands that we are strong and we have strength out there, and we do have strength out there, we have battle-hardened troops in high-speed warfare. The Indian Army is by far the best. We have the capabilities there. So China will understand that language. And that is where I say that I have hope that they will understand that it is better for them to disengage. It is better than not to escalate the matter. It is better for them, better for them and more than India, that they go back to status quo ante, because it is going to be a long haul.
So when you say that China should be given a message in the language they understand, what do you mean? Can you elaborate on that, since you have been DGMO and you have been involved in such strategic conversations earlier?
China respects strength. So when you demonstrate a strength, you demonstrate a resolve, you demonstrate a resilience on the ground. So China respects that. If China is building up, and I believe they will build up as per some satellite imagery which is there in the open domain, and I talk from the public domain, open domain. So if China build-up is taking place, our build-up is also taking place. So China understands that. I'm sure China is noting our build-up. And that is what China understands, a position of strength. It respects strength. And when China sees strength, not only along the line of actual control, but in the air power, China sees strength in the Indian Ocean. China sees that we as a nation are binding to balance China with other nations. The Quad is gone, the exercise is taking place, the passing exercise with the US carrier has taken place. So Australia is on board. Japan has always been there. So there is a congress of interest in like-minded nations to deter China from aggressive behavior all over. So China understands that strength, and India is part of that strength. That is what I'm trying to say. So you have to deal with China from personal leadership, and they will understand that language. I'm not trying to say you don't do anything more than that right now. No. We are talking to them. They are talking to us. Both are talking to each other. But we have to talk from a position of strength. Otherwise, China will not behave. China will not go back. We have to deter the aggressiveness. We have to ensure status quo ante.
So as you mentioned that China has amassed troops, and we understand there are tens of thousands of troops there in the mountains of Ladakh. And MEA spokesperson also yesterday said that the behavior is untenable and different this year. So do you think there can be escalation to a war or maybe limited conflict? And if not, why?
No, you cannot rule out the possibility of war. There's no doubt about it. But the probability of war is low because I don't find really a driver for conflict. If you look at the world order, China's aims, intentions, and national aims are different. China is aiming to challenge US for global supremacy. So China's aims are much higher, and China, if it confronts India, if there is a conflict in India, it will pull down China. So China would not like to do that right now. And there has to be something, a driver for conflict is when your national aims are threatened. I do not see that happening right now. But the fact remains that the strategic intent can change, interests can change, aims can change. And that is what we have to understand, the strategic intent of China. And if we discern their strategic intent, we will be able to counter them better. And at present, I don't see a driver for conflict anything more than the LAC right now. But yes, there are chances of a spiral, and we are prepared for that, and we should be prepared for that. And we should not only look at the immediate and near term, I think we need to look at the mid and long term. China has given us a wake-up call by Galwan. China has said that China is no longer the long-term threat. China is the threat knocking at our doors. So we have to understand that China's threat has to be mitigated, has to be defeated, has to be met in the present, in the near future, and in the future.
But you say that China's strategic objectives are something else. But won't you agree that this is the first time that China has amassed so many troops on the LAC with India after 1962, and this indicates something else? Maybe there are deeper conspiracy there, or deeper planning, deeper strategy.
Yes, that is what I'm trying to. We should understand the China's strategic intent. Definitely, they come for exercises now if you look at China's infrastructure on the Tibetan Plateau, on the Chinese side, you find that it's a multi-modal, multi-dimensional infrastructure. Earlier, we used to talk about a two-season capability to build up. Now they have a one-season capability. They have the highways, they have the feeder roads, they have the operational roads, they have airfields, they have railway lines, they have logistic installations. So they have built up their capabilities over a period of time. What they do not have is a deployment all along like we have. We have a defensive, offensive deployment. When it's a defensive, offensive deployment, it's a defensive deployment all along the line of actual control. We are there, but we also have certain, offense is the best form of defense. So we can take action out there. So we are strong. China is not going to, it is not like a walkover sort of a thing. We are stronger than China along the LAC. That China understands that. And hence China is building up more and more. But whatever China builds up, we can match the build-up. We have a battle-hardened army. We have the capabilities. So we have to build up and we have to show China a politico-military will, not only for posturing, but also for application if pushed, if required.
Yeah, I understand. I also agree that we have the capabilities and in fact, we have the working experience of fighting in the mountains, which China doesn't have because we have fought in Kargil. But the issue comes about, regarding infrastructure. As you mentioned that China has developed its infrastructure very quickly and fast, but we have been lagging. Maybe we have been complacent by the Hindi Chini bye-bye concept, or maybe still all these years that we have not, as you said, we have been in a defensive position. And while they have been making preparation maybe for this day, I don't know.
Yes, you're right. For very many years, we had a mistaken self-restraint where we did not build infrastructure roads near the border, thinking that if we build roads, we'll be frustrating China's offensive action. It's only in 2005 that we had a game plan. We planned for 73 strategic roads, which will be completed by 2012-13. They are most of them, 62 have been completed right now, other than very still completion. So we find that the infrastructure is coming up now. But yes, there is a reason to give it a push. But our procedures and processes are long, and we need to now ensure that we have an integrated infrastructure development plan, which is totally integrated, which is under a monitoring cell, which is supported by the finances, and we do give them the wherewithal required, and we should build up our infrastructure. That is a weakness which we have, but that weakness we overcome by other operational means, by ab initio deployment, by all along the line of actual control. So that weakness we have actually overcome that weakness, but it has come at a cost. But that cost today is paying us dividends because of our deployment all along the line of actual control, which is ab initio, which has been there continuously for decades now. So that is paying us dividends now.
So will it be wrong if I say that strategically India has been maybe caught napping? Because I remember George Fernandez had long back said that China is our enemy number one, but actually everybody mocked at him, saying that Pakistan is our enemy number one. So was there maybe strategically we were not able to identify who is our real enemy, or is it?
No, I would not say that. I think what we have got wrong is we did not discern the strategic intent of China in 2019 and 20. We were overtaken by events. We were overtaken by the pandemic. We factored in the Wuhan spirit. We factored in Mahabalipuram. So we were, I think, we could discern the strategic intent of China. So that is definitely there. But to say that we have not treated China, yes, China has not been the primary threat. We understand that. Mr. George Fernandez said so. But at least at the military level, we have had preparations on. We have never let our guard down because once bitten, twice shy. We were bitten in 1962. So it is not that we were not there. We raised two divisions in 2008-9. We started raising the mountain strike for the DGMO when the mountain strike was sanctioned in 2013. It was to come up. It has not got the resource allocation. But that doesn't mean the core has not come up. It's not been raised. It is raised. So we have a mountain strike code, so we need to revisit it and make sure it gets all the wherewithal. We have moved armored formations in Ladakh. We have made armored formations along the LAC. We have mech infantry out there. So we have engineers out there. We have the combat power out there. So it is not that we did not realize that. We did realize that in 2013, if you recollect, in July 2013, the Mountain Strike Force was comprising of 90,274 men was sanctioned. So that means we had foreseen this threat. So the planning was already on. But we have to understand that we have limited resources. They're competing right to the national level. So the resources will always be there. But the fact is that we are strong on the ground and will continue to be strong on the ground.
No, why I'm talking about that, we may have been caught off guard because in April we were talking about celebrating the 70th anniversary of establishment of diplomatic relations, and we were planning to celebrate some 70 events this year, but now we are celebrating this on the LAC.
Yes, absolutely. I fully agree with you. We could not defend the strategy in front of China. We were taken over by the 70 years of our diplomatic relations, 70 events being planned. We were part of BRICS. We were part of SCO. There was the Indo-China relations set to grow. And that is how it should be, because it is in China's interest, in India's interest. See, India and China, all said and done, have got mutual concerns. We've got shared interests. We have 1/3 of humanity in these two nations. We have two Asian giants. We are both nuclear nations. So we have a lot of cooperation. But India-China relationship is a set of contradictions, actually. There is cooperation, there is competition. There is now conflict also. There is confrontation. So we have to see that is there. So we were going on a good, smooth relationship going. The strategic partnership was there. We had a hand-in-hand exchange in the month of December, which is military to military. And then in April this happens, and which I feel as a military man, this must be in the planning stages for about 3 to 4 months, because the moment the summer set in, onset of summer, you find that the Chinese build-up had taken place, multiple incursions have started. So China had already prepared for this in the early stages. So that is what I am trying to say. Yes, we have been caught napping them, and we have to wake up. We have to learn lessons from there, and we have to see that doesn't happen again.
So, since we are running out of time, sir, one last question I will ask you about South China Sea situation and Indian Ocean region, where America has sent its 2 aircraft carriers, and now they are sailing and doing all that drills. And do you think America really means business, or is it only to cater to the domestic audience by the Trump administration, since he is seeking re-election in October?
See, America has always had interest in South China Sea. America's interests have been, they have demonstrated their interest out there. They've been looking for freedom of navigation in the South China Sea. China has been denying that to them. U.S. also has to look after its allies which are there. So U.S. means business to China. It is not that it is doing it for India. It is in the U.S. interest. They have done redeployment from Germany and NATO forces also. So it is an overall thing. But yes, it suits us at the present time. It is in the interest of US, it's in the interest of India, it's in the interest of Japan, it's in the interest of Australia, it's in the interest of other nations who are there. But what actually, how it manifests itself has still to be seen, because the US has demonstrated that it has got the capabilities, it has demonstrated that the aircraft carriers are there. So China has to take that into, factor that, and China should be concerned about such a large US presence in the South China Sea.
Why I ask this question is because there have been a lot of talks in India, Indo-US summit talks and other talks, or at ASEAN joint statements also, that about ensuring free navigation in the South China Sea. But this is for the first time US has sent its Navy there, the aircraft carriers with all the assets. So that's why I asked this question.
Yes, you're right. US has sending it there because China, like I said earlier, has shown no sensitivity towards their neighbors. China's got 27 neighbors, and if you see, most of the neighbors are, in a sort of China is aggressive towards its neighbors. It's not only India; it's most of the neighbors of China. It is very aggressive out there. Yeah. So the US is now also seeing that the aggressiveness continues. US will have to safeguard, live by the treaties. It's got allies out there, it's got interest on the South China Sea. So that is what the US is doing. And India is a strategic partner of US. Let's see, we have a strategic partnership. And presently, it is in the near to midterm interest of US and India to be together and to show our Congress of interest and a will to limit China in doing what it is doing.
So we hope that China will be limited and contained by maybe US and India and other partners. Thank you so much for participating in this debate, sir. This is all in the agenda today. Thanks for watching. I will be back with another important topic tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.